We stand as one against the night, with steel and fire in our sight. No more silence, no more shame. We'll scream to heaven and this game. Not alone, Tiff and Spanny taking control. Vinny, Herbert, Daniel too. Kim and Gunner bring us through. Rise up, shout loud, don't tread on me. We're hunting justice, we will be free. No, no more tears, no more despair. We stand for Kerry, we're always there. CPS victims, hear our call. We break the chains, we stand tall. Through the darkness, find the light. Now we have Brenda, we are ready to fight. For every child taken away, we rise against the breaking day. Punisher leads our fearless flight. With hearts of fire, we'll make it right. Rise up, shout loud, don't tread on me. We're hunting justice, we will be free. No, no more tears, no more despair. We stand for Kerry, we're always there. Rise up, shout loud, don't tread on me. We're hunting justice, we will be free. No more tears, no more despair. We stand for Kerry, we're always there. CPS victims, hear our call. We break the chains, we stand tall. Through the darkness, find the light. Now we have Brenda, we are ready to fight. For every child taken away, we rise against the breaking day. Punisher leads our fearless flight. With hearts of fire, we'll make it right. For every child taken away, we rise against the breaking day. Punisher leads our fearless flight. With hearts of fire, we'll make it right. Rise up, shout loud, don't tread on me.
Whoa! What'd you think of that one, Vinny?
Be free.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Wow. Welcome, everybody, to Inauguration Day episode of CPS Victims Hunting Justice. I'm your host, the CPS Punisher. We got Vinny in here with me by my side. The others will be joining us soon here. We got the chat over here on the right here for us to be right there. Gunner, you're not
What's
in
up,
here.
Gunner? Yeah, what the hell, Gunner?
What you didn't see all hands on deck means everybody but Gunner.
Let me send it to him the other way.
Yeah, Gunner's special.
Here you go, Gunner. I just send it to you specially.
So what's up, everybody? Special election day here. We saw Donald Trump go into office today.
Yes,
waiting
we
to see-
did. I watched that whole thing.
Gonna wait and see what he does to CPS for us.
Yeah.
So we decided on the we talked about it earlier on the Tiff and the Punisher show. I'll bring it on right here. Is that we are we are going to do a message out to Donald Trump. So put your messages to Trump down here in the comments on the bottom here. Leave your messages for us that you'd want us to send to Trump, but also on Valentine's Day, February 14th, we're going to do a live show
Hey,
that
Chris.
everybody can speak up to Trump, and we're going to try to coax someone of his administration and them to pay attention to us and watch that show. And it's going to be all hands on deck for that show. It'll be everybody that has shows here. We'll all be involved in it. So it'll be a good day. Hopefully we can get someone to pay attention to what we've got going on. Because it's we need this. We need this. The CPS movement needs this. Let's take a look today at some of the biggest highlights of the Trump thing. How about that?
Yeah. Especially his speech. I loved his speech. You guys really, if you haven't heard Trump's speech after his inauguration, oh my God.
Help you stay in.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear.
I, James David Vance, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
Against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
That I will bear true faith
That I will bear true faith
and allegiance to the same.
and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely,
That I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion.
And that I will well and faithfully discharge
And that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
on which I am about to enter.
on which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Vice President.
So salute to his wife. Hey, baby.
Yeah.
Did you know that those podiums are designed so that the president can fall down underneath them and they'll close up around him?
Ladies and gentlemen, please
Yeah.
welcome Chief
yeah.
Justice Roberts to administer the presidential oath of office.
Give her a little rub of the back.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the office of President of the United States
the office of President of the United States
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me
Look
God.
at Barron.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Yeah, he's going to be the next president.
Hey, Barron Power's opening.
We were all talking about it today. Wasn't it look funny how this is Trump kind of looks like Carmen San Diego?
I thought she looked
Ambition
like princess stuff.
is the lifeblood of a great nation. And right now, our nation is more ambitious than any other. There's no nation like our nation. Americans are explorers, builders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and pioneers. The spirit of the frontier is written into our hearts. The call of the
Oh, he's
next
wearing a purple
great
tie.
adventure resounds from within our souls. Our American ancestors turned a small group of colonies on the edge of a vast continent into a mighty republic of the most extraordinary citizens on earth. No one comes close. Americans pushed thousands of miles through a rugged land of untamed wilderness. They crossed deserts, scaled mountains, braved untold dangers, won the Wild West, ended slavery, rescued millions from tyranny, lifted billions from poverty, harnessed electricity, split the atom, launched mankind into the heavens, and put the universe of human knowledge into the palm of the human hand. If we work together, there is nothing we cannot do and no dream we cannot achieve. Many people thought it was impossible for me to stage such a historic political comeback. But as you see today, here I am. The American people have spoken.
I like the next part.
I stand before you now as proof that you should never believe that something is impossible to do. In America, the impossible is what we do best. From New York to Los Angeles, from Philadelphia to Phoenix, from Chicago to Miami, from Houston to right here in Washington, D.C., our country was forged and built by the generations of patriots who gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. They were farmers and soldiers, cowboys and factory workers, steel workers and coal miners, police officers and pioneers who pushed onward, marched forward, and let no obstacle defeat their spirit or their pride. Together they laid down the railroads, raised up the skyscrapers, built great highways, won 2 world wars, defeated fascism and communism, and triumphed over every single challenge that they faced. After all we have been through together, we stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in American history. With your help, we will restore America promise, and we will rebuild the nation that we love, and we love it so much. We are one people, one family, and one glorious nation under God. So to every parent who dreams for their child, and every child who dreams for their future, I am with you, I will fight for you, and
Right
I
there.
will win for you. We are going to win like never before.
Right there.
Yep.
Thank you.
Joe Biden with disgust on his face.
Thank you. Thank you. In recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to bring it back and make it great again, greater than ever before. We will be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism. Our power will stop all wars and bring a new spirit of unity to a world that has been angry, violent, and totally unpredictable. America will be respected again and admired again, including by people of religion, faith, and goodwill. We will be prosperous. We will be proud. We will be strong, and we will win like never before. We will not be conquered. We will not be intimidated. We will not be broken, and we will not fail. From this day on, the United States of America will be a free, sovereign, and independent nation.
Here it is.
We will stand
Free,
bravely.
sovereign.
We will live proudly. We will dream boldly, and nothing will stand in our way because we are Americans. The future is ours, and our golden age has just begun. Thank you. God bless America. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yep. All right.
He is going to make us the way we were back then, sovereign.
Free sovereign.
Yep.
Sovereign from other countries, like from British, to Britain, free sovereign nation. We're a free sovereign nation.
Which the Constitution says that that's what we are.
Yeah.
So that's why
We're a free sovereign nation.
So that's why I don't understand when these people are giving up their citizenship to become sovereign citizens. When
we're
they
want to be free sovereign from the United States. See, we're free sovereign from Britain. Okay, the British.
Here's the thing. Then you give up your constitutional right.
Right, exactly. But when you're supposed to be sovereign already, and you possess your constitutional rights. So
when Trump is talking about the free sovereign nation, he's talking about free sovereign from any other nations. We don't have to answer to no other nation.
But what he's saying is that, but we're all sovereign citizens already.
As it relates to other nations, yes, we're sovereign. But now, the people who were here saying they want to be sovereign, sound like they want to be sovereign from what's going on with our government.
We already were. That is why it is written in the Constitution, we the people. It's not we the government. We the people control the government.
Okay, then what about the people that stopped and said they're traveling, they're not driving?
Those are these sovereign citizens.
Yep.
But they have to have a driver's license.
Well, it says in some statutes and codes that you do not.
Yep. It
Only
says you can operate a vehicle on a public way without a license.
As long as you're not traveling, in work mode, what do they call that? In commencing, as long as you're not traveling in commerce, then you don't need to have a driver's license.
Yep.
That's it.
You need a driver's license. I researched that up and down, and I couldn't find any place that any state, not even any state, that even territories, St. Croix, St. Thomas, Puerto Rico, St. John's, you need a driver's license.
Hold on. I'm going to put the kibosh to this. I got it. This is our good friend Rick Martin right here. Let's see here. Here we are.
Dr. Fowler should be coming on shortly. Do you see her yet?
She's already here.
Oh, okay.
I'm here.
Oh, you're good friends. You're good friends with Dr. Martin. I mean, Rick Martin. So check this out, Herbert. Ready?
I don't go anywhere without this. This is my traffic book right here. And if you read down below, public servant officer, it pretty much says to him, when a cop pulls me over, you're losing potato chips. But when a cop pulls me over, the first thing I do is I ask him, what's your emergency and how may I assist you? And he's going to ask for my driver's license and insurance or whatever. And I said, well, before we go there, I need you to fill this out. And I take that sheet of paper out of there and hand it to him. Before we can go any further, you need to fill this out. Once he reads this, it already puts him on notice that I'm not playing games with him. And then you open up the book, and that is so poignant. And here's the case I won against Harris County. Harris County, I always take my name out because I'm not going to give my name until you can give me what's called, and police always call it, it's RAS. What's your RAS? And they automatically assume I'm a cop because I'm using their lingo. And what RAS stands for, reasonable articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime. Okay, you don't have that? Okay, what's your SAF? Single articulable fact. Well, you don't have that either? Okay, you've just basically said that there's no reason to pull me over because you haven't seen a crime. Okay, here's the case I won against Harris County. You can see the stamps and date, and they ended up buying me a brand new Porsche 911 Turbo all-wheel drive convertible with them pulling me over and letting me spend a night in jail. So, and here's the lawsuit, and I've got these for everybody to see, and you can see that it's all put together, and there it is, signed by the DA and stamped, showing they lost the case.
And they lost it, and they paid
and
you
I
what?
sued them.
And what did you win?
$250,000 for a night in jail. And then Supreme Court says no license necessary to drive an automobile public highways. Now these are all documented. So what this is called stare decisis, okay? We're running a case that's already been won in the Supreme Court, and they're in violation of their oath of office when they don't pay attention. My license plate doesn't give you, if you look at my license plate, the license plate alone says I'm not in commerce. Now, if I have a license plate like this car over here and that car over there, they all have license plates. License plates mean I'm engaged in commerce. I'm not engaged in commerce. This doesn't give them the authority to pull me over because they see that. Where do you see that I'm engaged in commerce? What gave you that suspicion that I'm engaged in commerce? You have the right to travel freely unencumbered, and that's all in the law. And when we look at the law books, Supreme Court has already ruled on this. And you go back to what is a license, and I want people to do their own homework. Go read the case of Murdoch versus Pennsylvania, or read the case of Shuttlesworth versus the city of Birmingham, Alabama. These are showing that you don't need a license. A license is to do something that is immoral, that's sanctioned by the government, like a 007 license to kill, okay? That's immoral. They need to be licensed by the state. In other words, they're protected by the state on that. There's nothing immoral about leaving my house to go get a gallon of milk. I only need a license if I'm using the public property. The roadways are public, and they're paid for by the gas tax, okay? They're not paid for by traffic violations. So when you get into the law, this is what scares most cops, and I'm going to get to it here if the wind would stop for 1 second. This is what most cops don't like because they don't know it. It's non-emergency use of emergency vehicle lights and sirens is a felony. Pulling me over for a traffic violation, they just committed a felony. And if they don't have reasonable suspicion that I'm engaged in commerce, they're done. And I'll bring out my brother's. I'm going to put this away real quick. I'm going to bring State Trooper. This was his book that he had in his car. Okay. Texas Criminal and Traffic Law Manual. I went to his car and I made him read this. And you're going to love this. This is out of their own law books. This is the LexisNexis. And it says under section 502.003, registration by political subdivision prohibited, except as provided by subsection B. A political subdivision of this state may not require an owner of a motor vehicle to register the vehicle, pay a motor vehicle registration fee, or pay occupational tax or license fee in the connection with the motor vehicle. This section does not affect the authority of a municipality to, right here, license and regulate the use of a motor vehicle for compensation. So if I'm not engaged in compensation, being paid to go from point A to point B, I don't need a driver's license. I don't need to register my automobile. And it is an automobile.
What about Massachusetts?
All traffic codes are pretty similar because they're all federal. They're pretty much the same.
There's a copy of Massachusetts.
Yeah. It's you can
online.
You can find it, and I will tell you go to like Amazon or eBay and buy a used one. My brother had to pay $300 for this book. Okay, and then you look at it here. Imposed a permit fee or street rental charge for the operation of each motor vehicle, okay, used to transport passengers for compensation. So who needs a driver's license? A taxi driver? Anybody that's engaged in making money using the public property.
There you
I
go.
don't go anywhere without this.
There's your explanation, Herbert.
That's not an explanation for me. And public roads for profit needs a commercial driver's license. If you're operating, what state is that guy in, by the way?
Rick's everywhere. I believe that was in Texas. Where was he, Rick Fowler? You know?
Last known in Michigan, but he says he's here in Pennsylvania now.
Right. So he's everywhere.
Okay, so he's everywhere. Okay, everywhere you need a driver's license.
He could
And he keeps intertwining. He keeps intertwining the word crime and violation, crime, violation. Anything with driving, for the most part, unless you're really going over speed, I mean, a criminal speed, it's a violation. If it's just a stop sign or you're going a little bit too fast, it's a violation. You need a driver's license.
Yeah, well, that code book says when you put your little boop boops on, that's a felony because that's not an emergency.
It's an emergency because of the fact that we're pulling a person over. The person knows we're pulling them over, number one. And number two, vehicles coming in behind us can see this police activity, so they'll slow down.
Yeah,
But Herbert, here's the problem that lies within it. We, the people, did not say we wanted license and stuff to drive cars.
That's fine.
Never
Then
once
change it.
did we vote on that.
Then here's my thing, Vinny. Change it. We the people. The people should just change it then. Then the police won't go out and do any enforcement.
The rules and statutes that we don't follow, but that's the way it goes. Unless
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm saying is change it, and I'll tell you what. That guy's going to get people in trouble. They listen to him, and they blow a stop sign.
I just put the link in here. That is the official Supreme Court ruling. You cannot overthrow what the Supreme Court said.
I hear you, Vinny. I hear you 100%. And I'm saying if people follow that and they blow a stop sign, they will get a ticket. And if they argue with the police.
Hold on. Did you hear what he said though? If you don't have that license, if you don't have that license plate on your car, then you don't have a reason for the cops to stop you.
Yes, I do. Because you're driving a vehicle without a license. Yeah, you're driving a vehicle without a license plate.
But it says in those codes and statutes, unless you're running in commerce.
Commerce, yes. I understand. I heard everything he said. I'm telling you. You drive without a driver's license, you'll be pulled over immediately. And then when you get pulled over, they're going to ask you for a license, registration, and insurance card. And I don't know of any state that will not do that.
Yeah, Spanny, you're right. They will go to jail, but they're going to get a big payoff at the end, just like Rick got. Every time they take him in, $250,000 in his pocket.
If he's got a way of doing that, fine. But from our level, the law enforcement level, the uniform level, we're doing our job. We just do our job. What happens in the court?
Talk about law enforcement. Where is the law that says that you have to drive with a driver's license?
Every state has a. I have to find it for you. Actually, you could do it faster than me. Use Maine for example. Do I need a driver's license in Maine to operate a vehicle? Google that.
I'm sure they're under your codes and statutes.
Yeah. So if he's winning money because he goes to court with his attorneys and wins, that's at that level. But at law enforcement level, law enforcement is not going to stop giving tickets if you don't have a driver's license, unless told differently.
Not license.
Maybe the question should be, how can I drive a vehicle in Maine without a driver's license? That'd be a good question. Now, traveling to me means you're a passenger in a vehicle. Sure, you have the right to travel. You're a passenger in a vehicle. You're traveling.
Motor vehicle driver's license. General provisions. Well, licensed that person operates a motor vehicle on a public way or parking area. Without being licensed, violation, condition, restriction of the license violation. Without a license issued state by the resident, stay for more than 30 days. Issued pursuant, residents required to obtain a license within 30 days of becoming a resident of the state. This is statutes. Statutes and codes are made for us. Licenses.
Right here. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's all under statute and
Right.
code.
He's reading it, Vinny. I think he's got it. He's skim reading, Vinny.
Non-resident. Yeah, I mean, this statute says that you need to have a driver's license, but that's statute and codes, man. That's not a law.
No, it's not about a law. It's required that you have to have a driver's license, and it's not. You didn't break a law. You didn't break a law. You broke an infraction.
Yeah, well, that's not, statutes and laws are not made for the people. Statutes and codes are not made for the people. It's made for the government.
Well, obviously, there has not been a big enough fight to get the word out to the uniforms not to give a person a ticket for not having a driver's license. Obviously, there hasn't been enough money lost in lawsuits where the word got out to the uniforms not to issue a ticket to a person just because they don't have a driver's license. You get enough of those going out, they'll change it and get it down to the uniform level, and the uniform won't issue a summons for a person not driving without their driver's license. Anywho.
Anyway, back at the ranch.
Yeah, back at the ranch.
Fowler, how you doing?
Hi. I'm pretty much okay. Just in grief every day. I did want to make a quick remark about whatever it is you guys are talking about, and color me conservative, but I mean, if the rule is to have a driver's license, I can never understand why people just don't get a driver's license. Pay for it and keep it in good standing, study the little book and keep a driver's license. Or if you're supposed to walk your dog on a leash, walk your dog on a leash, or don't jaywalk, or stop at the stop sign instead of doing a rolling stop. Like, I just think that when people go to court over these things, they're really diluting any movement or any statement or any point they might have in the greater world. That's just me. But could I? So I'm, Rick Martin is my friend, but I've never seen Rick Martin win. Every time I've seen something, he just gets hauled away and he gets apprehended.
Well, that's just from his recent struggles, and that was them. That was actually him getting in trouble for representing himself in court. That stuff from the COVID stuff, when they said that he was illegally representing, he was practicing law, which we know that that's not a rule either. That's not a law either.
No, but I just tend to think that he could find a better fight and a better cause. It's just me.
Well, I mean, the guy's done everything else. I mean, he's been to war. He's dated what's her face, Sheryl Crow. He's he's done. He's been a Golf Hall of Fame pro. I mean, what else can you do? I mean, fight the government, I guess. What else do you want him to do?
Kind of like all we're doing is fighting a corrupt government agency.
Mhm.
Yep. But anyway, that's where we're at with that.
Well, you guys mentioned sovereign. I have a name for you, Darren. And Vinny, cousin Herbert. This is a woman whose work that I studied very intently in preparation for my writ of mandamus. She is considered a Moor. Her last name is, or her final surname is Bay. Her first name is Valara, V as in Victor, A apple, Llahra. Last name Renita, Renita. And the final surname is Bay, Bey. She's attorney at bar, or she was in Philadelphia, but she's also a Moor. And she's given these amazing, transforming eruditions on the true Moorish system of governance that we all understand was the original for these, what we call the United States, the territories, and the counties system, based on the King of Morocco and the establishment of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship in the year just about 1787. So, Darren, if you want to pull her up, maybe, I don't know if you have an interest, but this woman is stunningly brilliant. She introduces, of course, the principles and the concepts of the Moors, that the governance that they introduced and the sciences that they introduced, we call it Moorish science, was based in part on the study of the heavenly bodies, astrology and astronomy. And then they broke it down to the, earthly, regulation and governance. And believe it or not, there's a little segment from years ago with President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, and they're standing in front of us, and you guys will probably find it. Michelle is wearing a red dress, which is the color of the Morocco, their national color, and there's a Moroccan flag in the background. It's a red flag with a green star, and President Barack Obama is talking about the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. So we've talked about sovereign, different kinds of law that are practiced, administrative law and so on. But there is still an undergirding of this original Moorish law, Allah, that is still operating in America. And that's what gave rise to the writ system. The Moors established that. So in the words of Valara Renita, she would say that you cannot say that you are, well, you could say anything you want, but when you say that you are a sovereign and then you add the word citizen, you just canceled your sovereignty.
Right.
Citizen, or the word citizen, puts you under the dominion of this corporation that we call a government. It makes you chattel. But when you say you are a sovereign, that means that all godly principle, and all godly rule is vested in you. You are the sovereign. When you say citizen, now you are essentially the property of the state. So when people go into court and they say they are a sovereign citizen, they just canceled
Yep.
their own cause,
It's
and that's
all
why
about
they
wordplay
lose.
with
And
that one.
it truly is about words. And when you see her videos, if Darren brings it up or if you guys want to look it up, she talks a lot about the words
Yes.
and the meanings of the words.
If you don't follow the words, you cancel yourself out every time. And then you're thrown in jail.
That's right.
That's why I'm so hell bent that parents do not use any of sovereign law, because it is so
Tim and I have had conversations about this. I'm in agreement with her.
It's so easy to screw it up. I mean, yes, it's correct. It's the way that things are supposed to be, but it is so easy to mess up. It's a lot easier to play in their court to understand what true sovereign law is.
Now, I don't have an ID or a license yet. I have tried 4 times to get it through the state of Alaska, and it never shows up.
Well, I agree with you all. So the language is key, knowing the use of the language. But if you ever want to really check her out, I mean, this woman is singularly one of the most beautiful, brilliant lecturers I've ever seen. The way that she ties in, of course, like I said, the cosmology of the Moors. We know that the Moors were in this place that we call the Americas for 1,000 years, maybe before the advent of people like Christopher Columbus. Their artifacts are here, their edifices are
Yeah.
here, and the Writ system, which I think, Vinny, I think that Cousin
Oh,
Hildrich had mentioned to me that you
no.
wanted to see my writ of
Yeah.
mandamus. Well, Darren, I emailed part 1 and 2 to you today.
Okay.
So if you ever want to bring it up and bring up the cover page, you can feel free to do so. I've had a couple of commentators say to me, oh, you put too much in there. Well, I put everything in there that I could think of, including the spice rack, on purpose, because just getting it done was a win, and it is to be a landmark document. It doesn't matter which direction the gavel came down. Establishing it is the win in and of itself. Doesn't matter to me if it hasn't been done like other people have done theirs. That's not really important. I did my best to follow the normal template for it. I studied like hundreds of hours to pull it together. But if my granddaughter lives, if she survives to be an adult, I want her to see the rigor that I put into this document, and I want the world to see all of the violations of the law that these people did. So I put everything in there on purpose to be my statement and my
There's
testimony to the entire world.
yeah.
Sorry, what'd you
Check
guys
this
say?
out. This works. This runs perfect with what we've been talking about too. Here's your lady right here, Doc.
Oh, there, I can kind of see it. I'm looking on my phone, but oops.
Color of law. Colorable color means something that pretends to be something that it's not. Colorable court, colorable money, colorable law, colorable people. Any people who call themselves colored, Negro, African American, Indian, Puerto Rican, Chinese, Australian, all of these are colorable labels, but these people for the most part around the world don't even know this. But because people have grown up into slavery for generation after generation in all these corporate nation states who belong to the United Nations, which is a private non-profit corporation trade association for nation state corporations. Got it? In order to belong to the United Nations, you have to be a corporate ward state, nation state. Otherwise, they don't want you. And they will go to war against a country and take the people out of their sovereign capacity and say they're setting up democracy all around the world so that they can take people out of their sovereign capacity and take them away from the law and impose corporate statute on them. And that's exactly what they do. All right? Now, color of law is in full swing all around the world. All around the world. And they have a clique where they're all intermingled and they all agree to participate together in this game. Right? Now, it doesn't matter where you go. Just like most people think you need a passport to travel from company to company to company that are called nation states. So you do need a passport if you call yourself black or African American or a U.S. citizen or any of those things. Yes, you need a passport to travel from one corporate nation state to another. But when you're traveling from one country to another, you do not need a passport. And those countries will tell you you don't. Depends on what you call yourself. You understand? Okay. Why do we have colorable law and colorable courts? During the Civil War, the Moors went to war against each other. Now, we destroyed ourselves in this. The Europeans did not come here and bring us down. We did that from inside, and they capitalized on the carnage. Do you understand? All of these buildings all around here, as I told in class last night, they're ours. They belong to us. They're ancient, these buildings. There's a whole city underneath this city. They've been burned all the major cities, the major energy centers on this globe we called an earth. Our ancestors set up these energy centers that we call Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Atlanta, Detroit, right? Chicago, Miami, Phoenix, Los Angeles, they are energy centers. They're not where they are in huge, large cities just because of some coincidence. There's energy and power in these places. London, Rio de Janeiro, all right? And by the way, we're going to spell it like this, Rio de. Day, which is a normal title of the Moors. Rio de Janeiro. You understand? This thing is worldwide. This flag that we carry with the red flag, with the 5-pointed green star, with the pointing up, all right? It's a worldwide flag. It's recognized all around the world, all right? Okay.
Oh, there it is. Well, I just wanted to keep listening to that. I wish it was. I'm going to find that to get longer. So there we go. There's the speech on colored law. Did we lose Spanny in here? We lost Spanny.
Yeah, we lost her.
So there we go.
Is that what you were referring to?
That segment in particular is one small segment from about 2 or 3 hour lecture or several lectures. The part that was really, of course, in particular of interest to me was the lecturette within the lecture on the writ system, because that was what I was seeking to do.
Yeah, I couldn't.
To write the writ of the mandamus, to demand the higher court to command the lower court to conduct a hearing.
Now, why did they refuse your?
And I'm alleging that the lower
What
court.
did your mandamus get refused for?
Sorry,
why
love?
was your mandamus refused?
You know what, Darren? I know this sounds silly, but I kind of didn't even read the denial of it, to tell you the truth, because just getting it done, like I said, was the win. So I didn't care what they said. I don't care what the gavel said. And I know it sounds a little cavalier. I can't remember, but I could definitely get it to you, and anyone else is welcome to read it. And it would be instructional to understand why it was denied.
Yes.
But I think I did an excellent job with it, to tell you the truth. It was way harder to write than my 2 dissertations. I'll tell you that, because with my dissertations, I was grounded in my subject matter. I mean, I had to dig and 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 dig to understand the components of the writ and so on. I looked at tens of hours of videos of judges and how the judges judge the writs. And the one thing that I was able to pull away from that is that the judges do not want you using citations that you don't know. They look them up. So I was very careful, of course, about my citations. And you know how somebody gives you a citation like Miller versus Miller, and you just throw it in there. But when you really read Miller versus Miller, it has no connection whatsoever. In fact, it presents a case where the person that would be you lost. So I did read all of my cases very carefully, and I did structure it the best way, according to the best formatting that I could find out there. So some evening, Darren, if you want to pull it up, if you guys want to look at it, because Vinny has expressed an interest in it, it would be great. And if I can find it. The denial might be there on record. It should be, right?
How can we look up your writ? How can we look up the writ of mandamus? How can I find it?
Well,
the writ itself will not be published. The denial and the judge's reason for the denial will be, but the writ itself usually is not published.
I didn't even
if it's denied.
Well,
they're not published.
Is it published? Is the writ of mandamus published?
I don't know because I never looked back.
I'm pretty. I know mine's not.
They do not publish denied writs, denied motions. They only publish motions which are either upheld. Usually, it's ones that are precedent setting or binding, which is binding is if you have like let's just say that for instance you have Roe versus Wade. So Roe versus Wade, that is going to be published. Binding is the one that's filed behind it that actually makes it stronger. So that one will also be published. Anything after that really doesn't matter because it's not being used anymore. And when it's denied, they're not going to publish any type of motion because it's not something that they want other people to use because they will use it in error.
Oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Gotcha. It does make sense. But Darren, it's in your mail if you still have the same email.
Yep. I'm looking right now. See, for instance, mine gave it to me. They denied mine. All the other reasons were they lied perfectly the way that they were supposed to, except for I didn't exhaust. They say I didn't exhaust all my options, which means that
I understand. And I was very careful to lay out all of the other remediative measures that I tried before I resorted to the writ. So that definitely was not. I know that was not the reason for denying it.
yeah, and it's one justice that reads this thing.
Dennis Ballard, what exactly were you asking for in your writ?
I was asking the higher court to command the family court to conduct a hearing on my lawful custody of my granddaughter and my lawful right not just to intervene, but of my presence as the party of the matter. I was denied my rights to intervene. I was denied my rights as a party and denied my custody and a hearing on my custody, or denied a hearing on anything.
So you were asking the court to recognize you as an intervening party and as the primary custodian of the child who should be recognized as such. And they refused? I'd love to see your denial.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, maybe I can get it to you. Yes, of course. Of course, the lower court, I'm the lawful custodian of my granddaughter. My daughter is not the custodian. I still have custody. It's court awarded custody in my court of jurisdiction. My granddaughter was kidnapped outside of the jurisdiction of DHS. And the social worker tried to take away my custody. So that alone proves the veracity of it. Try to take something away that isn't real. She knows it's real. And then, so the court denied my custody. The court denied my many, many motions to intervene as a party after the baby was kidnapped. And the court would not give me a hearing on either, on my custody or my motions to intervene. I'm still denied party status. When I act, I am the party, not my daughter. Thanks for asking, darling.
I would love to see the initial filing. You said that they I mean, I know we've talked about your case in the past, but some of that stuff I haven't been able to ask questions on. You said they took your jurisdiction of CPS. What do you mean by that? Was this like outside of the physical jurisdiction, venue jurisdiction, or is this like outside of the subject matter jurisdiction?
Yes, both subject matter and person jurisdiction are vested in me. DHS is in the city of Philadelphia. I resided at that time in Montgomery County, which is not within their jurisdiction.
Okay.
So when the social worker just showed up at my house one day in September because she just wanted baby Carly so badly, like a blind dog in a meat house, she just ordered her social worker to just take the baby. I called the police and the police made them leave for lack of jurisdiction.
So, how old was your grandchild when she was taken?
5 months, and it's been 835 days since she was last seen.
Okay, and where did the child live? She's 5 months old. Where did the child live the majority of her life?
The majority of her life, she resided with me. That she was domiciled with me because she was born under my household and my authority. And then I went to court, and the court awarded me first a protection from abuse order that had an attachment of full physical and legal custody of my granddaughter. It was an amazing order. I had never seen one that thorough before. It protected the other grandchildren. And then I went back to court, and the court awarded me immediately, with just a stroke of the pen, full physical and legal custody through the family court portal. So I had both the big custody and the small custody.
Okay. In your mandamus, did you cite the UCCJEA as a reason that they didn't have jurisdiction to take your granddaughter?
Did I cite what, love?
The UCCJEA.
I don't know that by that name. I did explain that they did not
She
have
cites,
jurisdiction.
I'm in that section right now.
But I'm not familiar with that term.
She has jurisdiction rights in here, but she doesn't cover under the UCCJEA.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. That's one of your biggest errors. If they don't have authority because they're crossing lines, you gotta let. So this is the way the law works. Just basically the way it works. When you go to court and you ask a judge to do something, you have to give them. You have to show them. Excuse me, not give them. You have to show them that they have the legal authority to do whatever you're asking them to do. The way you show them that is by citing statutory law and case law. The case law and statutory law has to be as close to your case as possible.
And relevant.
You use those to tell the judge you have the legal authority to make this decision.
She definitely covers a lot of that.
If you do not cite those laws or those case or statutory laws, then the judge cannot rule in your favor whether he wants to or not.
Well, she's definitely did a good job.
So when you're filing a writ of mandamus, you're asking the higher court to order the lower court to do something. You've got to show the higher court that they have the authority to do so in this case. And if you don't give them something to show that, then it doesn't matter how good your argument is as to why they should do it. They have to be legally allowed to do it.
Understood. It's coming back to me now. Darren has the table of contents probably in front of him. So as I recall, one of the first things I had to establish was that the higher court has jurisdiction. That's the first argument. That this court that I'm going to, it was the district or whatever it is, I don't know. I can't even remember. I'm kind of obliterated with it. But that the court that I'm going to has jurisdiction to make this decision. And then I did, to the extent that I could, throw in, of course, the cases that support custodianship for grandmothers. One of them was Baxter or something like that. There aren't that many that were out there. And of course, you have the standard Troxel versus Granville or whatever it is that shows that we have our not sovereign 1982 liberty rights. And because I also, of course, went into our state law, which is 235324, because I'm actually about 6 people based on that law in terms of my standing for custody. I am the grandmother, but I already have custody. I'm both parents, so that makes me 3 people. And I'm also the kid. Are you there with it, Darren?
Yeah, hold on. I'm looking right now.
Yeah, see, my phone, the images on my phone are smaller than a postage stamp. So I can't see. Kim, I can see your face because it has the most light on it. I hope you're okay. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's been a while since we've talked.
Oh, yes, baby. I'm still in duress and distress because my baby granddaughter is still out there in the world, maybe dead or alive. I do not know.
I'm so sorry to hear that. But I know the feeling.
Thank you.
I know how scared you are.
Well, thank you. Only, yeah, thank you. I always have to reserve what I say, but thank you so very much.
By the way, Kim, did you get my compliment about how well you handled Alaska, Kentucky on your show?
Oh, I don't even know. I don't know if I saw that, but thank you for
Yeah,
the compliment. I did not hear that.
I sent you a compliment. I listened to the entire show, and I liked the way you screamed and you asked them questions. It was very, very well done. Very well done.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Vinny's very helpful in been very helpful in making sure that things flow just the right way, and we've kind of gotten into a rhythm of he knows when I want, somebody muted or I want something, put in or whatever.
No,
So it's kind of working out pretty well.
In that particular case, there was a lot of loopholes, and you dug in when you realized they were omitting information.
Yeah. One of the things that I believe wholeheartedly is that there are thousands of cases the CPS should not have taken the kids, and then there are thousands of cases where the parents are full of shit and the kids should have been taken, but they want to scream victim and they want to sit there and play like they did nothing wrong. And those people shouldn't be allowed to say those things and stand up as people that are victims when there actually are true victims. And Spanny, I absolutely believe they are good people, but in order for everybody to see that, there's questions that, certain people don't have the ability to tell a story. And when they do try to tell their story, it's so jumbled and it's so out of sync. So it takes somebody that can ask the questions to make it kind of fit into where it needs to fit into. So, yeah.
Right. With that said, I listened to my cousin's story, and I can't find any loopholes. I cannot figure out why they will not give the granddaughter to the grandmother. The grandmother has the capabilities to take care of the granddaughter. She has the room to take care of the granddaughter. She has the food to take care of the granddaughter. Can't have the granddaughter. There's no boyfriend. There's no husband. It's just my cousin.
Yeah. Just, I mean,
Nobody's doing drugs.
I absolutely agree.
Nobody's doing drugs in the house. Nothing like that. There's no weapons around.
Well, maybe Ms. Fowler, maybe we need to start getting high, because it seems to be that the parents that do get their children back are the ones who are getting high all the time. So maybe we need to get somebody from one of these marijuana-friendly states to send you a big old pound of pot, and maybe then you'll get her back.
Okay, so to throw this out there to you guys, since you're on this talk, all right, I want to read you something that was posted the 19th of January. Okay, it states, this comes from the Maine Monitor. New federal data shows Maine Child Welfare Agency is moving against a natural trend.
Okay.
That's the article I sent you, Vinny. That's the article I think I sent you.
No, this is one I found.
Okay.
And
well, the situation here is, guys, we all know, in my case, all of our cases are somewhat different, but my case is full-blown, what is medical kidnapping? That's it. So short of what I know now, there was no way that I could have avoided the kidnapping of my granddaughter, because she was earmarked and wanted dead or alive before she was born. This is not my first time with this particular social worker. I had kind of suppressed the memory of it. I always remember that she was involved with my family for now about 5 years, but she also kidnapped my middle grandson, literally. The same scenario occurred with my daughter, who was in a state, let's just put it that way. She was discovered by the authorities. CPS was called in, then I was called in. I fetched my grandson from the hospital while my daughter went off and was 302'd. The boy was then, DHS intervened. I was the kinship. And then my daughter kidnapped him from my arms in the park on purpose. Then she planned everything, and then she promptly called DHS and threw him back into the arms of DHS, and the responding social worker was this particular social worker. And my grandson was so horrified and so terrified that he soiled his pants. So it took a year to get him out of that. And then by that point, when my daughter was pregnant, she was going from state to state to avoid detection, to avoid having the new baby snatched. That would be Carly.
So your daughter, has your daughter told CPS and the courts that she doesn't want you having custody of her children?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, there's your
I've been
answer.
fighting my daughters.
That's why they
What
give
did
them to you. Because your daughter, because Troxel versus Granville, the parent has the right to decide how their children are raised. Your daughter doesn't want you to have her children. Whether she's fit or not, she still has that decision to listen to.
They don't.
And if she made that decision and she's told the courts that, then that's why they won't give the child to you.
Kim, without question, my daughter is the original culprit. My oldest grandson is 23 years old. And every time I had him stabilized, my daughter would come in and she would do everything that she could in the entire world to get him snatched from me, to get him put into DHS, because my daughter has a new pathology that should go into DSM. I'm going to write it because I've lived it, where she cannot tolerate a single day she cannot tolerate her children being happy and safe and well adjusted. They must be thrown into DHS. They must be molested. They must be harmed. They must be traumatized. And she must fight me at all costs.
Well, that's the thing is that when you have a situation, I've seen this more than once. I've got actually several grandparents who I have worked their cases. When you have a parent that is telling DHS and telling the courts, I do not want this family member to have my children, DHS is not allowed to give those children to you unless the biological parents' rights are terminated. At that point, then Troxel versus Granville goes out the window. It does not apply, because basically at that point, the parent is now just biological material and not legally related. So they have no legal right to say anything. Rights are intact, then the court legally can give you nothing if she says no.
You're citing all of the nuances of this. Absolutely. We're at that tenuous point where we're about to go into the TPR, but I'm not just a grandmother. I'm actually the lawful custodian. I'm the parent by law.
I understand that.
So even though my daughter still has her parental rights, I had the custody.
Right.
And that's been overridden. So, and with that part,
with CPS, possession is not 9/10 of the law. With CPS and custody cases, possession is not 9/10 of the law. So,
tell me about it.
Let me ask you this. You said you got custody. Custody was given to you by a different court from which CPS is in. Have you addressed any of this in that other court?
Yes, I tried to do that. I hired yet another attorney early when this was going on, and I engaged her services to go to my court of jurisdiction and to take DHS to court for violation of, what do you call it? Contempt of custody.
Right.
She twiddled her fingers for 6 weeks and didn't do anything. Then I finally decided to do it myself. So you guys know how I am. I'll write it. I'll do it. I don't care if it's flawed. I don't care. I just can't sit around and do nothing. I have to activate. So I filed my own contempt of custody, and I didn't really know what I was doing. So the court just didn't, they didn't acknowledge that.
So that's one.
And that was all I knew to do.
It's because this other court has jurisdictional authority, not the court the CPS is filed in. you need to actually address it with the initial court that has jurisdictional authority, to have them come in and tell the other court, hey, y'all don't have authority over this. This is our case, and pull it back in front of them.
But you know what? I would love to do that, but I've never had a single lawyer mention how, or I just don't know. I'm lost, guys.
You petition the court
You got to
to
challenge jurisdiction.
petition the court that you're in to pull the case over, because they are the ones. How long ago was custody given to you by this court that you're in? That you're in now, not the CPS court, the one that
That was given to me. That was given to me September the 9th, 2022.
22. Okay. So, Ms. Is there anything in that court document that says they retain jurisdictional authority for a period of XYZ amount of time?
Yes, I have full physical and legal custody and full person and subject matter jurisdiction in all the 50 states until October 2025.
No, that's not what I was asking. Is there a statement by the court that the court retains jurisdiction over the case for a certain period of time? Have custody for a certain period of time, but does the court keep jurisdiction of the case for a certain period of time? Usually that's in the last 2 paragraphs. The court will say, court retains jurisdiction for XYZ state law, blah, blah, blah.
I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I just know in the case of my PFA, it expires October 25. The whole order expires unless I renew it.
I would have.
So it doesn't.
I would have to see. I'd have to see the court order to answer that question.
But as to a specific statement of expiration of jurisdiction, no, not that I recall at all.
Okay, so
If that's what they're saying, I'm not too sure that
you have a situation where the case is going to be continuing. So like with child custody, let's say you deal with custody of the child when they're 6 months old. They still have 18 and a half years before federally they're an adult. So that court will have ongoing jurisdiction. This will be an ongoing thing, okay? The other person may petition to get custody back. It may be flip-flopping. So what the court done in the original order, which says that you cannot go to another court to address custody unless that court first relinquishes jurisdiction for it to happen. That means that no other court has the authority to address custody of the child unless that court says they can. And the way that happens is by petitioning the court and asking for them to release jurisdiction. So if CPS did not ask the original court to release jurisdiction into the new county, that means that any order that has happened in the new county is null and void jurisdiction to address it to begin with. So what you're going to have the original court petition the original court to ask them to pull the case back over. If they refuse to, then you can go in with the writ of mandamus and ask the appeals, ask the higher court to order the lower court to pull the case back over to the jurisdiction where it's supposed. Now, here's the other thing. When it comes to going to a higher court, less is more. I know it sounds eloquent to write a third page, and you think you sound, so intelligent, sound like you're the best person to have to get. They don't have.
All they care about is the law and how it was affected.
So they don't have time to read it. Less is more. The best brief.
Well, yes, agreed.
Where you're going to
Sorry, Jack. Of course. Now, the reason why I put so much elaboration into my writ of mandamus is because that is my landmark. That's my encyclopedic piece. But yeah, I get you in terms of the brevity of motions and petitions. But I do have a lawyer now, and I'm hearing some feedback. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
We don't hear any feedback.
Oh, I see. Heard some feedback. Yes, thank you. Yes, so I have pondered for a long time how to pull myself back into my court, but at this point, I'm so weary. So we've got the TPR hearing that's scheduled again for this coming Monday. Now, I had a TPR on file too. I don't know. I don't think mine's scheduled to be heard. Only DHS.
So I would file if your daughter's rights, if they're going through with the termination of your daughter's rights, I would go ahead and be proactive and file to adopt the child.
Yep.
Because
I have an adoption pending petition. I filed for adoption back in May.
Okay, good. Because what they have to do is your adoption has to be considered before anybody else legally can, because yours was filed before then. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to go through, they're going to have to consider you adopting the child. If they deny you adopting the child, then they have to give you the ability to appeal that decision before they can move on to considering anybody else adopting the child. Yours has to be completely gone through before they can consider anybody else adopting.
Hey Kim, does that still reign true after your rights are terminated? If say my son wanted to take custody of his siblings, and he was the first one to put that in, but this was after TPR.
Mm-hmm.
The first person who files a motion, their motion is required by procedure that motion must be heard, and any other motion considered. If that's an appeal, if the original petition is an appealable motion, then they have to allow that person to exhaust all remedies before they are allowed to consider other options. So if Brenda, if I wanted to adopt your child, and so did Darren, and so did Herbert, and so did Benny, and I put mine in first, they have to consider my petition. They have to, if they deny me, then I have to be able to have the right to appeal that denial. They cannot hear Darren's petition, which came up next, until after I've had the opportunity to go through and exhaust all of my remedies. If they do, and they do say that Darren can have the child, then I later on have my decision denial overturned. The adoption that he had, adopting the child, is null and void, and the child goes to me.
Jesus. That's so convoluted.
Our
Help me,
case
Lord.
is my son did put in before anyone else did to adopt his siblings, and it seemed like they were all meeting at the same, like in the same time, like within like 3 days or something like that. So it was decided that the children would be adopted out to strangers, and they didn't tell us who that was or that it even happened. My son was left in limbo, not knowing anything, because they didn't even tell him, no, we're not picking you. They didn't tell him anything.
Oh, they're supposed to give him a result of the order. They're supposed to give him the judge's decision. That's part of procedure, is to make sure the parties receive a copy of the decision. And if they don't receive a copy, if they don't, your appeal time starts from the day that you get the decision. So let's say that it's sent out today, and it's in Alabama. Okay, it was sent out today. It's in Alabama right now. Alabama's under a state of emergency because of all the snow and winter weather, and they're not used to. So let's say I've got 30 days to appeal a decision. The 30 days starts the moment that I get that. If I don't get it until February 13th because of all the craziness with the weather and what have you, I've got 30 days from February 13th, not 30 days from today.
I know eventually
Now,
he got something
if you
in
have an
writing,
attorney,
but it was well after. I'm going to have to pull that up and see what the dates were on there, because I was actually thrown in prison during that time because I tried to rescue my daughter out of that abusive situation. And that's what was the other thing. So you're saying, say, this happened in Charlotte County, Florida, and the rights were terminated. Well, actually, at that time when I went to rescue my daughter, our rights were terminated, but it was still up in the air about what would happen to the children in any case. But would that mean that Dixie County, Florida, since it was where the dependency case took place, how can Charlotte County say, hey, we're going to decide the custody that was given to the foster parent or whatever you want to call? It's just a little confusing there, because I didn't know if that would like fall into the same category of what you were talking about earlier.
the court that initially gave CPS custody is the only court that has the jurisdictional authority to make the decision as to whether or not that the rights are terminated. The only way that another county could do that is if the first county released jurisdiction to the other county. So there would have to be some sort of petition by CPS in the other county asking them for a change of venue, which would allow them to give it to the other county. Darren, Vinny, y'all, I feel left out with hats. What's up here? Why are we all wearing hats
You
tonight?
know, no hat because you're not in a cold like this.
Yeah, it's turning cold in Louisiana, y'all. We're supposed to get
It's negative 13 degrees up here. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're getting there's all kinds of warnings. Louisiana, everybody's panicking. Nobody's lived up north except me, obviously. But they're shut down. My son doesn't have to be at work tomorrow.
Gonna be funny and take off the hat and put on the mask.
We get you one of these hats, Kim, if you need one.
I got a hat.
I'm sure you do. Kim, what's your email address?
Look, guys. Look. It even comes down. It even comes down.
Oh, somebody made that.
I had a friend of
That
mine
is
make me
nice.
this. I love it. It is my favorite hat in the entire world. I love it.
Kim, what's your email address?
DHRJusticeAlabama@gmail.com.
Yeah, it's that weather.
Benny, you look like the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean with all the tentacles hanging down off of his face.
I put my hat
Now
on
it looks
too.
like Herbert's wearing a hat.
Yeah, because it's like 70 degrees, so it's cold here.
It is cold over here. My feet are cold, and I got socks.
I was talking to Spanny earlier. And it is colder where I'm at right now than it is where she's in Alaska.
I believe it.
That's saying something. It was like 33
cover
degrees or something up there, and it's negative 13 here.
I had to cover up all my
Yep.
guava trees. Yep.
Yeah, it's very cold here in Arizona too. It's about 65, 70. So that's kind of cold. So I got to put my hat on.
65.
Yeah,
Get out
cold.
of town.
That's how much it is right now. Y'all see that?
What do I got? Oh, you know what it says on my laptop? It says snow is coming in about 1.5 hours.
It looks like it says 16 degrees.
It's
This
negative.
is the first time I've ever been in snow.
No, that
in
says
Louisiana.
negative. Negative 16, Herbert. Negative 16.
Oh, negative 16? Negative 16?
Negative 16
Where the hell are you
degrees
at,
where I'm at right now. Yes.
Where are you at?
Right now I'm in Minnesota. Right now I'm in Minnesota working
Well,
a case.
that sounds normal. Yeah.
But it's colder here than it is in Alaska.
That's crazy.
Sandy
I
and I were
think
talking about that
Minnesota
earlier.
was
She
the
was like, it's
coldest
30
state.
something right now. And I'm like, it's 60 and like 13 below.
Yeah, Minnesota was the coldest
Wow.
state I ever lived in. When I go out to start the car, without a glove, you get frostbite. And that's the first time we learned that you have to plug in your vehicle. You can plug it in so everything doesn't freeze up. You've got your vehicle plugged in? No. Did you hear about this? I was like, I didn't know this. So it's like my car froze up and they're like, oh, you're supposed to plug it in. I'm like, what?
No. I
Mine has
haven't had an
two.
issue with it'll take a couple extra turnovers to crank, but it's good. My secret is
Guys, listen to this.
vinegar. I mean not vinegar.
So we play towards.
Alcohol. Rubbing alcohol.
So we play towards writes this. She says, "My name's Ashley. Nice to meet you. My brother has schizophrenia and uses meth, and me and my daughter were at the doctor, and I told him to get help. He told me he was breaking into my home again and calling CPS. I walked up my deck and my door was broken, and he came and trashed the place and called CPS while we were out, and I still lost custody. Finally, we are back in the same home. It's okay. We're back together now and going to trial. They will lose."
Yes, they will. Amen. We are going to pray that they do. Kick their asses.
That's terrible.
And kick him in the balls.
That's just terrible.
Keep screwing with
But
you.
what do you do in that situation? That's another situation where she didn't do a damn thing, and here her brother comes in, storms in, destroys her house, all this stuff. Apparently, there was an issue for a little while that the kids back with them. I mean, she didn't do anything. I mean, obviously, there's more to the stories, but what do we do? What do we do in these situations? Like, how do you she still lost?
I mean,
what is the person to do when someone else does something like this, something evil towards someone else like this?
to know your rights. You have to know you do not have to let CPS in. You make them go get a court order. Don't cooperate with them. Don't give them any information. The more you talk, the more they learn and the more they use against you, whether it's factual information or not. And Herbert can tell you that as a cop. The more you talk, the more information they have to use against you.
That's very correct. But I think that what it is
Go ahead, Herbert.
what if I was just going to say, that's very true, but there's a lot of people, Darren, you were a victim of it, and that is who don't know. My cousin Fowler, she was a victim of it. You don't know. If you don't know certain things, you're going to do things. You're going to let people in. You're going to let the CPS in. And a lot of people have fell in that trap.
Right. But that's why we're here, is to try to educate people to know not to let them in situations.
The people that are with us on the show are not in a position in a not know. They know what's going on. They're involved. We're talking about people who have never had encounters with CPS. They should be listening to the show.
Yeah. Yes, they very much should be. They very much should be.
Well, guys, if you don't mind, I'm a veteran of 20 years. My oldest grandson is 23 years old, and for 20 years, I have been striving with the same organization. The difference now between 20 years ago, my daughter making false calls to CPS and alleging things. Are you guys hearing the feedback, or I'm good?
You're good.
Okay, and what alleging things to try to get my grandson taken away from me was that 20 years ago, there was still a corpus of ethical, moral, upstanding social workers within the DHS system in Philadelphia who were really nice people, very humane, and knew how to respond to a call, quickly discern the situation, and broker the situation. Then there was a change and everything went totally corporate, as you all know. That's about 7 to 8 years ago when everything became MAGA corporate with the trillions coming in. And all of those people were pushed outside of the system and replaced with these robots who will do whatever people do. So there was a cultural shift in Philadelphia too to pave the way for the medical kidnapping. And even with my knowledge about medical kidnapping, what is it? It used to be a part of my practice. At Temple University, I taught social workers, nurses, physicians how to avoid that. We didn't call it that 20 years ago. But what's happened is the lack of accountability, the immunity. We're all up against that.
Mm-hmm.
And in my case, my granddaughter wasn't taken from my home. I had built enough knowledge about this new system through the Vincent Davis hour, but I didn't know what I know now.
Right.
I knew enough from the beginning. As soon as I saw this social worker, Nikita Hunter, I wrote to my court of jurisdiction and I asked for a cease and desist. I'm like, this woman is a menace. She's a threat.
Mm-hmm.
I'm terrified of her. Can you please get her to stop? Because if you don't, something catastrophic is going to happen. Please, do we have to have these family visits? It's going to be a catastrophe. Please, this woman is threatening me. So I did all that I could to...
Kim is backwards.
Huh?
Well, this week, guys, what do we got? What do we got coming up this week?
It's child welfare and child protection. This is actually one of the first. It says, the CPS investigated knowledge and construct an impression of risk through assessment, consult, analysis. That means shut your mouth. They can only, if you open your mouth, if you tell them what they want to hear, if you answer questions for them. So shut your mouth. If they can't, they can't get an answer out of you, they can't get an impression. They can't make an analysis. So shut up.
Hey guys, so
Exercise your right.
it's Monday night. Go ahead, Jim. Finish up.
I was just saying, exercise your right to put your lips together and keep them that way.
Yes. So Brenda, this week we'll start with you. You're the last one down on the bottom of the totem pole. We'll do final thoughts here in a second. But this week, Thursday and Friday, you're on at 9:30. What are you going to be talking about?
Well, I thought I was gonna have last words. Now you're throwing this at me. No, this I don't know, Darren. There's a lot of things that go on during the week, and I'm like, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to talk about this. But you guys have any suggestions? I'll gladly take them.
I love your show. I think your show's great. The way that you just go with your story, I think it's awesome.
I just blah 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 blah. It's
great.
like
People love it.
But I did want to say something because you guys were talking about the sovereign citizens. I know it doesn't go together. I didn't know what that meant at all. When I found out my CPS supervisor was telling the law enforcement that me and my husband were sovereign citizens when I was attempting to rescue my daughter out of this abusive situation. I was like, what the, and I didn't see this till later, until my discoveries after I was thrown in prison and then jail or whatever, the other way around. But I'm like, what the hell is the sovereign citizen? So I looked it up, and I can tell you I'm going to tell you a little bit about what this says here about a sovereign citizen, because I'm sorry that whatever they were saying or what the definition I read, we were not that. I mean, how are you going to say somebody believes something when you don't hear it from themselves? When they're seeing, like me or my husband makes films on YouTube, they're taking that as some type of reality, that's his belief. I'm sorry. He's just an on-air performance. But anyways, it says here that American Sovereign citizens claim that. Wait, is this the part I want to bring? Yeah, that the federal government is illegitimate. Sovereign citizens outside the U.S. hold similar beliefs about their country and governments. The movement can be traced to American far-right groups such as Classe Comitatus. And that's funny that word, because I never even seen that till today, and I looked up this definition because back when we lived in Minnesota, for some reason the cops wanted to keep coming out to our house then. We didn't have any problems with CPS at that time, but the sheriff there asked us if we were posse comitatus, and we're like, what the hell is that? We have no idea. So in any case, it says they're like constitutionalists, a wing of a militia movement. The sovereign citizen movement was originally associated with white supremacism and anti-Semitism, but now attracts people of various ethnicities, including a significant number of African Americans in the latter, sometimes belonging to Moorish sects, whatever that means. But they're saying that sovereign citizens are not violent. Anyways, I just thought it was funny. And I always get excited now when somebody talks about sovereign and that, because I'm like, just like I didn't know anything about CPS and them what they do, I didn't know anything about sovereign or what that meant, when that was told. Anyway,
Those your last words too, Brenda?
yeah, that was a lot of last words. But all I can say is I'm very encouraging everyone. I know it's cold and everything like that, and a lot of people don't like to get active outside because it's so damn cold. But I encourage you to exercise, eat right, because it's keeping your mind healthy through exercise as well. Keep your mind busy through whatever you like to do, like activities. Some people like to sew, some people like to cook. I like to cook myself, but I think you always have to have that outlet to keep your mind busy on other things, not just like constant fighting against the system, because it's will wear you out so bad. It's just, believe me, I know. But and definitely just like everyone says, just keep the positive attitude. And I say prayer. I think there's a lot to do with a prayer, and I really believe in prayer, and I believe in just trying to get into your Bible, and just even if you're doing it by yourself, I mean, just don't take anybody's word for what the Bible's saying. Look it up, back it up, and I always try to surround myself with people who know a lot about the Bible, and that's how I've got through all these years.
Hell yeah. Amen to that. Dr. Fowler, you want some last words?
Well, yes, and thank you so much. They're the same ones as usual.
All right.
My abundant thanks and appreciation for each and every one of you, for all of our listeners and our supporters and our well-wishers, those who are here and those who are not. And may the angels of protection and peace guide each one of our children and look over each one of our children and ourselves. I'm so grateful for the love that passes between us and for this circle of friends and well-wishers and supporters. May the circle be unbroken.
Amen to that. When are you going to start doing some shows, Fowler, for us? Getting back in the grind.
Well, actually, I'm preparing stuff now. You know, I'm still a type A personality. I want to have everything scripted out. But now that you ask me, I do want to bring, first of all, as an introduction to it, the letter of command for the return of baby Carly that the dads have structured here. And I sat down today to actually shoot it to you to find out if you could manipulate some of the photos, because I want the world to see the pictures along with the captions, and I just couldn't figure it out. And so that's one thing. And a show. I'm looking forward to the return of Men in the Trenches, if I could figure out how to wave my magic wand and be able to get in touch with you.
We're here right now.
That could be the name of your show, Tammy. It could be Men in the Trenches. by Dr. Fowler.
Or magic wand.
Well, that was Darren's concept, and I was there. And we, the return of thank you, Herbert, would be great. I'm so
Yeah.
so appreciative.
That's your show on the Darren's Network. It's Men in the Trenches.
Men in the Trenches.
Yeah.
We'll keep working, Fowler. We'll bring it back. We'll start.
Yeah, it was more of a co-project.
Yeah,
but actually, we were gaining momentum, I think. And, I think of myself always as a delegate to the men's movement. So
you
I would be
went to
pleased.
RFK for us.
Sorry,
you went to
love?
RFK for us, remember?
I did. I had my first maiden voyage out there as a delegate, and I think I did pretty good. I brought you guys back a CIA agent on my first time out there. Come on now.
You sure did. So we'll get working on that for sure. Absolutely. All right.
Thank you. Better pray that I go on this juice fast so I can stay in that suit.
That's right. Sure. Kim, what do you got this week? And let's do some last words with you. Are you Monday through Friday this week?
We can.
Well, now Tuesday through Friday?
Well, obviously not Monday because Monday's over.
Are we Tuesday through Friday?
Yeah, I think we can do Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah, that's fine. 8 p.m. Central.
All right.
Yep, that works for me.
All right.
Benny, you good with that slot? Because you're probably going to be doing it.
Yep, because all my appointments are all early in the morning. So, yep, I'm good with it.
All right, there we go.
Kim's
Okay.
gone all week, guys. Make sure you see Turn the Page. And last words from Kim.
The biggest thing is you got to remember that one day your kids are going to come home and they need you to be physically, mentally, psychologically healthy so that when they do come home, they have somebody that can take care of them, that can protect them, that can help process all the bullshit that they've been put through. So if you feel like you want to take your life, if you feel like you can't, it's just too much for you, reach out to one of us. We don't want you to take your life. We don't want to be the one to have to tell your kids that you were a good parent and that they should not have been taken away from you. We don't want to be there to tell them that. That is your job, and you need to be here to do that. So if you don't feel like you can, get a hold of me, get a hold of Darren or Benny or Brenda or Herbert, get a hold of Spanny, get a hold of Tiffany, one of us, get a hold of your friend, get a hold of the dozens of advocates that you can find online. Talk to us, talk to somebody, figure out something that you can do that keeps you here. One of the things that I do is I volunteer to provide food for some of the older residents in my apartment complex, as well as for the warming station. And I have that on my schedule. And if I get into that situation that I feel like I can't make it, that I can't push through, I remember, wait, I've got this on my schedule. These other people are counting on me to do what I said I was going to do. And if I take my life tonight, who's going to do that for me? Do it. One of the things that I show in every one of my shows that has helped me tremendously get through the anxiety and depression that CPS has caused is this right here. You can get it at Walmart. You can get it, you don't have to use that brand, obviously, but GABA has been fantastic for my mental health. Don't do something that your kids are going to run.
All right. Herbert, last word.
Keep your own counsel. Be careful with who you talk to, because not everybody is your friend. Not everybody is on your side in terms of your case. You have haters out there, and those haters love to hear your story, and they're hating on you. But in fact, they're enjoying listening to your story that you're suffering. So you got to really watch who you're talking to. Don't just consult with everybody. Only consult with people that you feel is on your side and working with you for your highest good. Also, on top of that, do not let Herbert or CPS into your house unless they have a warrant or court order. A police officer is not going to open your door and come in. That's trespass. Not going to happen unless they have a court order or they have reasonable cause to believe that somebody is in imminent danger. Other than that, they can't come into your house, nor can CPS. And I don't recommend opening the door for either one of them. Keep your door closed. Talk through your door.
Get
That's
out
all
of
I have to say.
here.
All right. Vinny, you got your show tomorrow night, right? The new Vinny show, or tomorrow morning? What are you doing?
No. Remember we switched it for Thursday
Okay, Thursday.
morning
All right.
at 11.
Okay.
11
then,
what?
So
AM or PM?
Third,
He's
AM.
after the Brenda's Back show.
Okay.
And then you got Saturday also, the Vinny show.
Yep. And we also have our main show Saturday as
Yes,
well.
sir. 2:00.
And I do believe that the Angry Citizen is joining us this coming Saturday,
well.
as he said last.
Yeah, you guys should like him. He's a hoot, man. He is a hoot. So make sure you check that one
And
out.
then we have Gunner on Sunday. Am I correct?
Yep.
Yep. Gunner is Sunday nights. Gunning for CPS. When are you gonna get one in, Herbert?
Everybody be throwing eggs at me. Everybody loves to hurt. Everybody loves to. Everybody loves to hate Herbert.
Eggs,
Especially Samuel.
the cost of eggs today, though, Herbert, get a basket, catch them, and go ahead and do your
Yeah, and then
thing.
sell them on the side of the road. Sell some money.
But everybody, yeah. But see, you have to understand. Everybody loves to hate Herbert, and that's okay. I'm on here to try to set things straight for you in terms of law enforcement.
That's right. And you do a damn good job of it, Herbert.
All right. Well, then how about let's not hate on
Yeah.
Herbert?
Oh,
Yeah, but
it's
it's hard not to. It's not. How do you not hate on Herbert when Herbert gives you a ticket for speeding? Herbert gives you a ticket for running a stop sign. Herbert's all up in your business, placing you under arrest. How could you not hate Herbert?
So teach everybody how not to hate Herbert.
You can't, because people do things, and Herbert's in every state. Herbert's going to come around, and there's good Herberts and there's bad Herberts. That's the problem. Not every Herbert is made the same.
You're right.
You're right
All
about
right.
that.
So my last words are this: for you CPS caseworkers that are watching, your time is coming. We have a new king in the house, and it's about to get really, 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 really serious. Welcome to our constitutional rights.
That's it, Vinny. It's good stuff right there. Powerful. And then as far as me goes, I'm going to say this. Make sure you guys check out every one of these people's shows. Guys, we don't do this. We're all here volunteering our time doing this stuff. So we appreciate all the time that you guys out there are in here with us, volunteering your times with us. Please give everybody out there that are doing these shows respect, and they'll give you respect. And I just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page here, because we don't need any sort of BS here. This is an all place for helping others that are involved with CPS, and that's where we want to keep this. No BS type of place. There's other places for that, and it's not here. I want to thank everybody that is so far has been with us through this whole thing. It's awesome. We're picking up momentum. Our messages are getting out there. So please remember to share, tell your friends, tell everybody about it. The schedule is filling up. We got a couple new shows starting up this week too. So when those come up, you'll see them just as fast as we do. We just got to make sure that they're going to happen. And keep CPS out of your lives. Everybody be safe, be good, and we'll all be with you tomorrow, starting the same time, same place. So until then, I'm the CPS Punisher, and we are out of here. Have a good night, everybody.
Shalom.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Take care.
I'm the one that you hate for making
ain't the same. Yeah, you're right, there's a difference. Y'all are woke and we're awake. What a joke. Does white privilege have something to say? Your president drove the country into the ground. The crime rate is through the roof, there ain't no jobs to be found. Inflation going up, my kids need food in their mouths. You put the fake news on every TV screen in my house. Hold up, your president a racist, homophobic, tried to overthrow democracy and everybody knows it. He will never make America great again like the slogan. He a white supremacist, just like all of you who voted. That is not facts. All you woke morons do is talk trash. Drag queens in classrooms hate anyone who's not black. You're pro-white, you know that's what the Klan members are, right? You're anti-LGBTQ, then why they always on your mind? Bro, you're a boy, you're a girl, stop playing stupid. You screwing up the youth and all the children are our future. You don't care about the kids, look at all the school shootings. You're pro-gun, it's your fault, stop making those excuses. You think anyone who don't agree with you is just a bigot. You're a fascist, you're a Nazi. You just mad because you triggered. You're just jealous of the left because we're progressive and we're winning. Now I'm tripping that you won the election because you rigged it.
They put you on the left, they put you on the right. They tell you what to hate, then they tell you who to fight. Till you're screaming, screaming. They put you on the right, they put you on the left. They tell you who to hate, they do anything to get you screaming, screaming.
My president draining the swamp, we building walls. Your president opened the border for one and all. Now there's murderers and criminals evading the law, walking right into America, our safety is gone. Well, my president ended pandemic, saved the economy, and introduced legislation fighting for our equality. His son smokes crack, I don't care about that honestly. He's raising all our wages, he can't raise his children properly. You obviously pro-life, a woman's choice is your right. I feel like abortion is important and you don't like. You're treating it like birth control, you're treating them like your wife. I said that all lives matter and I also meant unborn life. You're so clever, go ahead make your little memes while we're bringing home the soldiers who were in the Middle East. Okay, you brought the soldiers home, but then you burned the flag and took a knee and left the men who fought for all our freedom homeless on the street. Build back better, there'll be violence and riots until you Bible thumpers learn to fall in line and trust the science. We ain't ever backing down from all you pedos and tyrants. The right is fighting the system, the left designed to divide us. And that is clown talk, all you got is mean tweets. It's free speech, call the cops, dog, you defunded the police. This country will be better off without all you freaks. This is America, homie, if you don't like it, you can leave.
They put you on the left, they put you on the right. They tell you what to hate, then they tell you who to fight. Till you're screaming, screaming. They put you on the right, they put you on the left. They tell you who to hate, they do anything to get you screaming, screaming.
No president will ever give a damn about the truth. It don't matter who's the winner, cause the people always lose. No president will ever break the system from inside. It's a deep state plan dividing us into sides. It don't matter if you're left, right, black, white, red, blue, conservative or liberal, rich, poor, me, you, Republican or Democrat, old, young, mean, cool. They promise us our freedom, but then all we get is free doom.
They put you on the left, they put you on the right. They tell you what to hate, then they tell you who to fight. Till you're screaming, screaming. They put you on the right, they put you on the left. They tell you who to hate, they do anything to get you screaming, screaming.
If you're a web designer, here are 4 Wix Studio features you gotta know.
Imagine being a child who has been torn away from their security blanket, their parents, the ones who stopped the boogeyman from terrorizing the nights and curing their boo-boos when they scraped their knees. Now just imagine how they mightest feel when the CPS meant to protect them tears them away from their supposed abusers and places them with strangers who have zero comforting skills. They need to be calm. They are confused, lost, panicked, and needing their parents, but CPS took them away for the purpose of saving them. The kids don't even know why, and they are told that the parents they attach to no longer want them. What do you think that does? Do you think that this is how protecting children is supposed to look? Abolish CPS.
Our courts are contaminated with young, inexperienced caseworkers and polluted with bribes, high-priced bonuses for speedy adoption of terminated parents, and judges who don't practice law with the Constitution in their sights. This is a problem.
They take away the fathers, leaving just a mom and cubs. They know that with that out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of yesterday. Fuck CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear that the division is what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is the song that needs to play across our once great nation, making us aware of the problem. Stealing our kids, it's not mama drama. Stand up for those who are lost due to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again. CPS comes along with the mission to protect. The only thing they are doing is cashing in those checks, paid for by the souls of the children, diagnosed by a caseworker who is still a baby herself. They take away the fathers, leaving just the mom and cubs. They know that with dad out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear that the division, that's what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is the song that needs to play across our once great nation, making us aware of the problem, stealing our kids. It's not mama drama. Stand up for those who are lost due to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again.
Live in a land paid for by blood, a country that was built up from sticks and mud. Our ancestors crossed 1,000 miles over the ocean, leaving behind a past that was negative emotion. When they first sighted land, they all jumped overboard and swam. They couldn't believe they were living in freedom. The government they once had didn't need them. It was tough during the first days, figuring this strange land. Many grouped together and started a plan. They knew they needed something to keep them in line. This is when they wrote the Constitution, man, it was divine. A bunch of men agreeing never lost their mind. They gave us all our freedom, one amendment at a time. And when they finished writing, 39 men had to sign. We have freedom, you can't take away. The Constitution guarantees that. So take your false authority and go the fuck away. The next 200 years came with a price. A bunch of men and women gave the ultimate sacrifice. They did it for the people alive today. You don't hear very many taking 3 times to say thank you, whoever you are, who gave your life, and for their families left on earth alone for their life. Thank you for your gift, the life that you gave. It lets us live as free men. Oh, glory we will wave. Now we are here in 2025, a year led by selfishness. It's no surprise the government is taking over. It's a friggin' mess. Our kids are being taken by people who must be diseased. Who the hell gave them that power? These actions need to cease. So listen up, you voted officials, we are here to say you need to pay attention to issues, because we aren't going away. We come bearing the Constitution, we'll recite it if we may. We the people is how it begins. The words that follow, you can fill them in, because they are true as they were meant to be. You're taking our freedoms one at a time. No one's paying attention except for us reciting these lines. You don't get to take away the rights we were given. Taking away our children should get you in prison. I'm not messing around, it's no laughing matter. Give our children freedom or fear.
Night I heard no call. Shadows creeping down the hall. Little faces torn away, dreams dissolve in lightless gray. Marching on the path of night, for our kids we rise and fight. Justice howls beneath the moon, echoes of a stolen tune. Broken cradles, silent yield. Hearts of steel, our only shield. Through the dark we hold our line, for the lost we intertwine. Marching on the path of night, for our kids we rise and fight. Justice howls beneath the moon, echoes of a stolen tune. Hands are bound by unseen chains, caged within the ruling reins. Whispers form a rising storm, strength in unity reborn. Oh! justice housed beneath the moon echoes all